Oh yeah, I want to show you this one. This is
At the
hilarious.
end of the
This
day,
is
both the
hilarious.
Israeli government and the Israeli elect.
This is so funny because what they're purposely doing this, right? I think they're doing this on purpose. This guy lost 33 members of his family. So this guy, what this guy is, Ahmed Fouad Alkhatib, right? What this person is, he's a traitor to the Palestinians, basically. He's I don't know what you can call it. Like, he's like an Uncle Tom of the Palestinians because he's a Palestinian who supposedly he claims he lost 33 family members, right? And then all he does is go and like defend Israel and say how, you know what I mean? That's all he does. That's all he does. That's all this guy ever does. But it's funny because I think it's almost like they want us to know, or they're like hanging in our face like 33 family members, guys. He lost 33 members of his
At
family.
the end of the day, both the Israeli government and the Israeli electorate do not want peace. They want to take more land. That's just a fact, okay? And it's a fact based on the polling. It's a fact based on the
Look at this
election.
guy. Look at this guy smiling. He's like smiling. But notice he has a globe back here. The globe. The globe. The guy lost 33 family members. He has a globe in the back. Here's a black and white picture right here. Wicked, dude.
Elections, they don't want peace. We have to make them want peace, not through violence, but through leverage, power, etc. It doesn't help to be anti-Semitic. That takes away your leverage. It doesn't help to be extremist or maximalist. It takes away your leverage and your power. But ultimately,
Yeah. Parker, don't make comments like this, man. We're all Christians here, right? And we're all brothers and sisters, all right? So be cool.
if we have a disagreement, it's on this. The responsibility doesn't lie with the Palestinians. I would ask them to do the right thing anyway, but the responsibility much more so. Responsibility lies on all sides, of course, as a general thing. But who has the bigger responsibility? It's the people with power. It's the people doing the occupation. It's the people doing the oppression. It's the people that have slaughtered over 50,000 people and 15,000 children that are currently stealing more land in Gaza. And yes, they are stealing it. That's exactly what's happening. All right, you guys ready to solve the Palestine-Israel issue? Well, let's give it a shot. We're gonna bring in Ahmed Fouad Alkhatib. He is the leader of Realigned for Palestine. And we're gonna find out what that realignment is, whether it can work, whether it's the solution, how do we get it done, who's in the way. We're gonna figure it all out right now. So Ahmed, welcome, thanks.
Dude, come on, man. Don't like if you put the SHI, then everybody knows what you're saying. It's just basically the same as swearing. Just don't do it. Just don't even think like that. Come on, man. I understand you're young or whatever, but please try to do better than that, man.
Thanks for being on, brother, we appreciate it. And start with telling us what Realigned for Palestine is.
Well, thanks so much for having me on. Really appreciate it. So Realign for Palestine is a project at the Atlantic Council, a nonpartisan think tank and do tank really in Washington, D.C., where I'm based.
The Atlantic Council is a nonpartisan think tank. That's hilarious. Hilarious. The Atlantic Council is far from nonpartisan, okay? I'll just put it that way. But just remember, this guy's lost 33 members of his family, and he's a Palestinian who somehow supports Israel's massive genocide of his people.
And it's meant to create an organizational framework around some of the ideas that I've been promulgating since the tragedy of October 7th and the horrendous war that ensued.
Is that what it was? See, that they didn't even say that, eh? They didn't on Inside Edition. They didn't even say that. Thanks, though.
The Gaza Strip, where I grew up and had immediate and extended family members of mine and lost family members of mine. Realign for Palestine is an effort to elevate pragmatic, moderate Palestinian voices who genuinely care about the Palestinians.
Dude, what are you doing? Now you put the full word? What are you trying to do, man? You want to get banned from here? Listen, dude, it's not funny, okay? You're not funny, and you're not being some kind of hero of the faith by defending the biblical morality by swearing, okay? The Bible doesn't say that is a bad word, but we know it's a bad word, and the Bible tells us not to curse, not to use bad words, nothing. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth. This is corrupt communication. All right? Don't do it. You know that. You already know that. How dare you?
Palestinian people who are invested in the rights and the aspirations of the Palestinian people, while also paying attention to ways in which we can adjust the approach of the Palestinian National Project by trying out different approaches, starting with the rejection of violence as something that is not effective. The emphasis on
What do you mean you don't? You don't, bro, what? You don't know that you shouldn't swear? You don't know that? You don't know that the Bible doesn't want you to swear? Use swear words? You don't know that? Now you do. Now you do, exactly. Now you do. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth. Okay? Don't even have the appearance of evil. Not even the appearance of evil. Okay? What's going on? Not too much, bro. Not too much. Not too much. All right, retarded. I don't know. We've been letting retardeds fly. I think retarded should be maybe brought out of our lexicon, but anyway. But retarded is not as bad as what you put. You shouldn't have put that, man. That's wicked.
The two-nation solution. We hear about the two-state solution, which, for a variety of reasons, it's not viable. According to some, to many, because of the settlements, military occupation, Hamas, etc.
Come on, Asperger. Come on, man. Like, we're trying to get him calmed down, so we don't need you to make it worse, right? This is everybody just be cool. Everybody, we all make mistakes. We all say the wrong thing sometimes. Just everybody just chill.
Nevertheless, the idea of the two-nation solution.
Glass. What is the name of the theology that you claim? You claim there's some other theology other than dispensationalism, right? That says that the covenant is for them. Can you name that one? Can you tell us what it is, please? Thanks.
Is that there are two nations, two people with two unique national identities, and that should be the guiding principle for our desired pursuit of a resolution. The embrace of multiple truths, nuance. Yes, I understand people sometimes get triggered when you say it's complicated because there is a desire to pursue a simplistic narrative.
Why do you want to speak publicly? You publicly were saying, LOL, Mike, there's more than theologies or whatever. You're trying to make it a joke. You're typing in this chat just now that there's other theologies other than dispensationalism that teach that the new covenant is for Israel, right? That's what you said. And now you want to DM me? Why do you want to DM me? Why can't you say, you just publicly said you were LOLing at me as if I'm ignorant, as if I don't know what I'm talking about, right? So you're trying to suggest that in the chat, you're trying to suggest that I don't know what I'm talking about, that I said something wrong to my people, that I'm teaching them wrongly. But now when I ask you to just name that other theology, just name it. Just put the name of it. No, now you're just completely changing the subject. Look, do I have to go back and find your comment that you said this? Wow, dude. This is just embarrassing, bro. Anyway, who cares, man? But look. Oh, yeah. There are other theologies that believe that the covenant is for literal Israel, not today Jews. I keep getting generalized only because the others see ignorant of my theology. Okay, so you're saying that there are other theologies. And I'm asking you to name that theology because you put this comment here, right? And you're LOLing at me at the things I'm saying. You're LOLing like I'm some joke. Bro, stop. You keep accusing me of so many things. I never accused you of not knowing anything. I never said that you accused me of that. I never said that. What I'm asking you to do right now is what you did say. You said that there's other theologies that teach that the covenant is for Israel, right? So just put the name of it in the comments section. Can you do that? No, I'm not gonna get worked up. You just look, dude. You just said this. You said there's some other theologies, right? that you can name that think that the covenant is for Israel. So can you just put the name of the theology? Just put the name of it. That's all you have to do. Anyway,
a black and white oppressed oppressor approach.
see black and white, and then he's got even his ties black and white. He's got the black and white picture here, and his whole kind of background is kind of black and white. So he's doing that duality thing. It's all about duality with them,
That while satisfactory for some people, it actually ends up leaving a lot of meat on the table that's not getting addressed. So multiple truths.
We are not in the new covenant. So what do you explain? How do you explain Hebrews 8? Pickleball. I'm not sure why I'm being pushed. Oh well, like I don't know what the chat is doing. I don't think the chat cares that much. I don't think they're after you. Okay, I'm asking you because you made the claim that there are other theologies other than dispensationalism that teach this idea that the new covenant is for the Jews or for Israel or whatever. But now you can't name that other theology. So that means that you don't know what you're talking about. And that's all I've been trying to say to you the whole time. So that's it.
Truce allows us, as a principle, allows us to say, yes, there is an imbalance of power dynamics between Palestinians and Israelis, but within said imbalance exists, for us as Palestinians, exists a lot of space to acknowledge our shortcomings, to acknowledge our mistakes, to have accountability and agency and responsibility. And that's not to blame the victim or being self-hating. I'm proud of my Palestinian identity. I love the Palestinian people. And finally, by marrying an evolution of the narrative, the pro-Palestine narrative and advocacy with pro-Palestine policy advocacy and promulgation. So that's ultimately what Realign for Palestine is meant to be.
No, I'm not misrepresenting you. As I showed your comments. Your comments, which you stated that there's some other theologies other than dispensationalism. There are other theologies that believe that the covenant is for literal Israel, not today Jews. Okay, so there are other theologies other than dispensationalism, right? So can you please just name one of them, just even one? Just even one. Just put one of them. Just put the name of one of those theologies, and then you will have proven your comment is correct, and I will have been proven wrong, and that would be it. I'm not asking you to defend your views or get into a big debate with me or whatever. I'm just asking you to name just the one theology, just the one, just even one. You said there are others, like there are more than one. That's what you said in your comment. Your comment that you put in this thing, Glass. Right? But now you can't even name one. So that's what I'm saying. Will Smith, of course. Anyone at that level, in my opinion, right? My theory of the world, anyone at that level is a shill. Will Smith is certainly a shill. Look at Parker. Parker's trying to defend Glass. Look, Parker, what are you trying to say, dude? I don't know what's wrong. What's wrong with what I'm saying here? I'm asking Glass. Glass said this. There are other theologies that believe that the covenant is for literal Israel, not today Jews. So that's a statement by Glass. Okay? And he says there are other theologies, plural. Other theologies. Okay? So my only question to Glass, I'm not asking you to defend your views. I'm asking you to defend your interpretation of those scriptures we were talking about before. None of that. I'm just asking you to put one theology, just one. Just put it in the comment. Just the name of one theology system or whatever you're saying that believes this. Okay? That's all I'm asking you to do. Why I said the first place without realizing that. Oh, now I'm changing the context. Yeah, okay, buddy. Okay, man. Ridiculous. The context. Okay, anyway, it's fine.
It's kind of a space, a new third way, if you will, that incorporates multiple truths and hopefully will rejuvenate what it means to be pro-Palestine at a time when it is incredibly polarizing and incredibly toxic for a variety of reasons.
Yeah, so I think we're going to largely agree, but maybe there might be parts we don't. I want to probe more into two states versus two nations. I haven't heard that distinction too much before. I think there is a clear oppressor and oppressors. Maybe we'll get into that. But overall, I agree with you on nuance for sure. Anytime you're not doing nuance, you're not living in the reality-based world. But before we get to any of that, so how many family members have you lost in Gaza?
So I've lost, unfortunately, that's part of what put me on the map, 33 of my immediate and extended family members. My childhood home, the house that I...
33. 33, guys. Look at his face when he says this, right? Like, does that look like the face of somebody who lost 33 of his family members, or does it look like the face of somebody who's saying a scripted statement?
Part of what put me on the map, 33 of my immediate and extended...
You're not living in the reality-based world. But before we get to any of that, so how many family members have you lost in Gaza?
So I've lost, unfortunately, that's part of what put me on the map, 33 of my immediate and extended family members. My childhood home, the house that I grew up in Gaza City. I left Gaza when I was 15. I'm 34 right now. And I left and I came here by myself as an exchange student to the United States, was supposed to go back to the Gaza Strip, but was unable to enter due to Hamas's control of the Gaza Strip. And I ultimately received asylum in the United States. I was stuck at the borders in Egypt, unable to go through the infamous Rafah border crossing. And so my dad he passed away 5 years ago, but he was the director of he was an UNRWA doctor. He ran the clinic in the Jabalia refugee camp up north. My oldest brother is there as we speak right now. He runs a major British international medical NGO. I got his brother I got his wife, and 4 children out. I got my mom out. I have a sister that left and is in Jerusalem, a sister in the UAE, and my other brother who ran the UNRWA beach refugee camp clinic. He left and is now in Germany. And so there were 3 separate areas.
So he just talked about all his family that survived, but he says he lost 33 family members. Where can we hear about those? I don't understand. Why is he talking about
strikes that with one in particular that killed 29 people on December 14th, 2023. That was exceptionally deadly. And the New York Times did an investigation, and Amnesty International asked questions. Foreign Policy Magazine asked questions. And my other brother who ran the UNRWA beach refugee camp clinic, he left and is now in Germany. And so there were 3 separate airstrikes that with one in particular that killed 29 people on December 14th, 2023. That was exceptionally deadly. And the New York Times did an investigation, and Amnesty International asked questions. Foreign Policy Magazine asked questions, and the IDF never responded as to what happened and what took place. And I've my 12-year-old niece Farah was killed in this and was survived by her twin sister Mara, who was badly disabled. My first cousin Isra was thrown.
Dude, this guy, it totally sounds like he's reading a script. Totally, like imagine your little niece got killed in a bomb strike. Is that how you would talk? Like, it's so ridiculous, dude.
Out of a building and then crushed by a concrete slab that fell on her and became quadriplegic. And many other family members who suffered. My uncle Muhammad, right before the ceasefire, just earlier in January, a week before the ceasefire, he lost his life in a market in northern Gaza. My uncle Ibrahim, he was in northern Gaza, and he basically had to he at one point during the 18-month war, was the only person remaining in our neighborhood in northern Gaza, and there were bodies all over.
See how he smiled a little bit there. This is what I'm telling you about the duping delight, the little kind of micro expression that they can't help it. They can't help but put a little smile on because they know that they're deceiving people, and they know they're going to get paid for it, so it makes them feel good.
He at one point during the 18-month war, was the only person remaining in our neighborhood in northern Gaza, and there were bodies all over the place. And he turned one of our next door neighbors' front yard into a makeshift cemetery, and he was literally just dragging bodies.
Look at his face. He's not telling you a story about how his family, multiple members of his family were killed, and it's like this horrific thing where the guy had to turn his backyard into a graveyard and all this stuff. He's not talking about that. He's talking about some script that he's reading, man. This is ridiculous, dude.
And just burying them in there. So I know a thing or two about loss, and I and everybody in Gaza has suffered, but I decided that I want to honor the legacy of my fallen family members by doing something that does break away from the vicious cycle of this violence. And I'm not saying that as a cute talking point or as something that, you know, I just think sounds nice, but I haven't thought through. I actually connected with hostage families, with survivors of October 7th, with families of current hostages, and with released and former hostages, and tried to establish common ground in our sorrow and our tragedy. And while that's difficult and challenging, that was an exercise in empathy and humanity that showed me the power of healing and reconciliation at a human level in overcoming and transcending this suffering that unfortunately...
Again, such complete scripted nonsense. Never, this is not how people talk from their hearts. You know, when they're feeling something, they're trying to explain how they feel. Don't talk like this.
Unfortunately, a lot of folks don't want to talk about ways to overcome. That's my remark about the oppressed oppressor. Of course, I understand that the Palestinian people have been oppressed and have lost a lot of their rights, just as they've also been at the receiving end of terrible leadership from Hamas, from the Arab governments and Muslim countries, historically and contemporarily. And we can certainly talk about that. But that was what I was referring to.
I'm going to get to Hamas in a sec. But look, I don't have any particular feelings about Norway. I guess I'm slightly positive towards it, right? It seems like a lovely country. And I knew one beautiful person from Norway who was great to me. But if Norway had killed 33 members of my family, I think I'd be within my rights to despise them. So I'm curious, just on a personal level, how do you get past that? How do you not despise Israel?
Well, I'm angry. I'm furious. I'm upset. I'm called to action. I have choice words for Netanyahu. I have said that I believe Mr. Netanyahu is a war criminal. I have regularly criticized the conduct of the Israeli government and military in the Gaza Strip. But that is different than being hateful. And I work really hard at this. I've engaged in a lot of mindfulness exercise.
So, well, yeah, like what? This is the thing. So TYT is obviously, they're all working together as shells, right? That's why you asked the dumb question of, how do you not hate Gaza? That's a dumb question, and it's not related to what we're talking about here. We're talking about, why do you support them? What are you trying to do? What is your aim here? What are you trying to say, you know?
Okay. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 Studying the Bible with Mike and Pat. These other YouTubers are just so trash. Hit the thumbs up if you wanna support. Go follow Mike as he follows the Lord. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 You better watch out, Mike's calling out the shields. If you're not free grace, you need to sit down and chill. We're not hyper grace, you know we keep it real. Eternally secure, you know that we're sealed. We don't back low, we're not workspace heretics. Mike's not in it for the money, trying to get a lick. They out here selling their souls for a couple clicks. Becoming Freemasons so they can't just get rich. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 Shout out to Mike and Pat. Check out his channel, Toronto Bible Study. Subscribe and like.